Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have the 13th year. This is a 1999 Disney Channel movie, Disney Channel original movie. I learned at D23 Expo they're called DCOMs, Disney Channel original movie. Yeah. I was asked what was my favorite, and I honestly didn't know what a DCOM was because I didn't grow up watching DCOMs, Disney Channel original movies. I was a little bit old for that at the time when they were popular. The whole time they were popular. Anyway, this is from 1999. It's an hour and 29 minutes long, and it's about a boy going through life's changes in his 13th year. Yeah, you know what happens when you turn 13. Things start happening to your body. Well, in this case, stuff happens a little bit more extreme than expected. But before we get into all that, I got to jump back to the beginning where, by the way, this title could mean anything. Like you could use this title for just about any Disney Channel movie that involves a 12-year-old becoming 13. Anything could be happening. They could be literally just becoming the best extreme BMX biker or surfer in Hawaii or just anything. It's just what happens in Disney Channel movies. 13th year, it's going to be a coming-of-age story, no matter what. But in this case, it involves mermaids, or specifically merman. I'm doing my best trying not to sound like Zoolander, and I think I'm succeeding. In this, we see a young mermaid woman carrying a mer baby underwater, and she comes to shore, and it seems like this is the only thing that really confused me about this. And yes, I'm going to spoil a few little things. The movie's 25 years old, and I realize a lot of us haven't watched it, but a lot of you have, and so I'm not really ruining it for a lot of you who would have seen this already in the first place. I'm just sort of refreshing us. And obviously people my age, at this age, who haven't seen it, are not going to necessarily be drawn to going, to watching a Disney Channel movie about 13-year-olds. Just not going to happen. But hey, you know what? If you're older and you want to revisit your youth, go for it. Have fun. Just don't let anybody tell you you're weird. You're not. You're not weird. Do it with Star Wars. I do it with all the other stuff I grew up with. Come on. So, in this, we follow a young mermaid carrying a mer baby, and she's heading to shore, and she starts to get chased by a fisherman who sees her first as a big fish he wants to catch. Then he realizes it's a woman with fins, with the tail. Crap, so he decides to chase after her. She realizes she's in danger, and she needs to drop the baby off. And it makes me think, well, you're a mer person. Where are you heading in the first place? A mermaid carrying a mer baby. Are you planning to drop off the baby on land? Is this the whole plan? Because that's what she does. She drops it into a basket on the back end of another boat that's docked nearby, commanded by a young couple, one of which is Dave Coulier from Full House. Yeah. The husband and wife, they don't have any kids, but, they suddenly find a baby in their boat. And the mermaid mom, she drops off the baby and sort of takes off, in a sense, just to get away from the boat guy, because, the mer baby's in danger. But she leads him away, crashes his boat, and honestly, I'm just telling you the first 5 minutes, so don't worry about me ruining too much. And then after that, she tries to go back for the baby, I guess. And then she's kind of surprised that the human couple finds a crying baby in their boat and takes it ashore, never to see it again. I realize mermaid mom revealed herself to the fisherman. He saw her swimming around. He's obsessed now. By the way, for the rest of the film, he's obsessed with mermaids because nobody believes him. He gets mocked for it. One of the people who actually mocks him is a guy named Hank, and he is played by Joel McKinnon Miller from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. You'll recognize him the moment you see him. It's just kind of funny. So this baby now, who looks totally human, by the way, this happened to be found in the back of a basket hanging off the back of a boat, and the parents, or the soon-to-be parents, pretty much are mystified as to how that baby got in there. Just, it's a newborn. Although it looks much older than a newborn. But anyway, they're not getting tiny little newborn infants and throwing them in baskets and stuff. So, yeah, we're not doing that. And then Mermaid Mom just sort of watches him being carried away, and she's like, okay, I guess we're done here. But this is, why were you near the shore in the first place? Were you planning on dropping off the baby somewhere? Were you going to the store, the fish store? What was the point of having the baby with you if you're so close to shore? There's lots of stuff. I'm sure there's, places to go in Mermaid Land, Atlantis or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, 13 years later, they do a big time jump, and we see the kid's name is now Cody. It's a young boy, and he is on the swim team. A little bit. He knows that he's good at swimming. He's not great. He's not gold medal winning, but he's close. He has a rival who's also a friend on the swim team. He also has a girlfriend. It's one of those weird tropes that is kind of broken with this film. Normally, we are with the underdog from the start. The underdog is usually, there's bullies involved, and then there's girls who just don't like them, or if it was gender swapped, it would be the girl where boys do not like her because she's weird or nerdy or whatever, and then she takes off her glasses and suddenly she's beautiful. Or a guy who just changes one thing, he combs his hair and suddenly, he's attractive to girls now. Or he's just a decent human being, which is, different than the bullies. So, yeah. In this case, though, Cody's already popular. He's cute, and he has a girlfriend. She is right there. She's played by Courtney Draper, plays Sam, and Chez Starbuck plays Cody Griffin. Chez Starbuck. Is that a stage name? He hasn't done a whole lot beyond this era. It had to be a stage name. He's got to be grown up now and doing other stuff, I imagine. But Starbuck? Really? What? I don't know. Like, some of the parents watched Battlestar Galactica and were just like, yeah, we're going to give him that stage name. Sure. I don't know. But if there's a Starbuck family out there, well, okay, great. Anyway, Cody is just living a normal life, but he's not the underdog. He's actually he's good at things. He has a loving family. He has a girlfriend who really likes him, and she's not like horrible. In fact, he's kind of part of the cool kids. And well, when he's suddenly approached by the obligatory nerd in school, who is the comic relief in every case, in just nearly every film. If you're going to have comic relief, it's going to be the awkward nerd. And that's Jess. It's a boy, and he's played by Justin John Ross. And I noticed that I think like his picture hasn't been updated since this movie came out. The weird thing is, he is actually literally funny. I don't know if it's just the lines that he's given, but don't get me wrong, the acting in this is not exactly Emmy-worthy kind of stuff. Nobody's taken home trophies with this, and it's not. And you wouldn't expect it. It's a Disney Channel original movie made in the 90s. It is what it is, and you can still enjoy it. It can still be fun. It just doesn't necessarily. Nobody's pushing for the Emmys. No, yeah, it's just not going to happen. But in this case, usually when he speaks, he's given some of the best lines. You figure they would go to Dave Coulier, but no. This kid, who knows he's a nerd. He's totally aware of his nerdiness. And he he can't swim, by the way, but he's destined to become best friends with Cody. It's just going to happen. And there's one point when Cody gets in a fight with another kid about something that I won't reveal. And he's like, hey guys, break it up. If you guys fight each other, who's going to beat me up? What am I going to do between periods if nobody's beating me up and you're beating each other up? Like, essentially that. It's the way he delivers it is much better than me, but it's still, it's funny. It's very self-aware. And it's a better line delivery and joke than this movie, for the most part, deserves. Because it's pretty by the book, except again for the fact that the hero does not start as an underdog. He kind of moves his way into underdog situation, because with the changes to his body, which, by the way, is making him more and more like a fish, more like a merman, and I'm doing my best not to sound like Zoolander, and I've succeeded so far, I believe. Did I use that joke already? Oh God, if I did, that's awful. I've only been doing this for 11 minutes. So he, as he's discovering his body's changing, suddenly he turns into Spider-Man. Miles Morales Spider-Man, technically, because he shocks people when he touches them, and he can cling to things. Things cling to him. Like, he picks up a bottle and he's just like, oh my gosh, I can't let go of it. Or he sticks to the ceiling. And there is a direct reference to Spider-Man. Yes, there's an Ariel reference. There is, there's a Little Mermaid reference. So, but yeah, it's just kind of weird, as he sort of has to pull away from a few different people. And honestly, just spoil one little thing. Jess, his new nerdy best friend, his dad is the fisherman who saw his mom back in the day. He's obsessed with the mermaid that he saw. He doesn't know if there's any others. And he didn't know about the baby being dropped off. But as suddenly things get put together, this had the potential to go really dark. Like, really. There's a number of little conflicts in here that, again, are a bit more complicated than expected. And honestly, at one point, I almost expected the X-Men to show up. He's not a mutant. Mermaids would be another species of humanoid. I don't know. Homo mermanus, I think that's what Marvel calls them, like the Namor, but he's a mutant because he's half man, half Atlantean. But either way, he's fully merman. It's just that we get a little bit of conversation between Jess and his dad at some point that fills in the details that they make up their own mythology, that mer children can pass for humans until their 13th year. Title. So that's the reason why he doesn't seem any different until he turns 13 and starts drinking a lot of water, starts growing scales on his arms, and having weird dreams about a mysterious fishy woman. Yeah, so as one does, we all go through that change, or a similar change. This is a metaphor, of course, but it's to the degree that, of course, you get the idea that the reason why I say the X-Men would show up is because he starts getting pushed aside once people realize he's changing in certain ways. His parents kind of want to deny it. They don't know what to do about it when they discover it. The doctors really just say, well, he's going through puberty, and they don't see anything somehow. Girlfriend kind of like can't handle it. Best friend on the swim team is becoming a jerk. I mean, there's a lot to pack into an hour and a half. But of course, the person who stands by him is his new nerdy best friend, Jess, and he's the one who's all into marine biology and helps him out. So yeah, I basically told you the whole movie. But how it ends is surprising. I'm not going to tell you that. But it goes a direction that I was not expecting. And you figure these kind of things wrap up real tightly. And this is a kind of story that requires a certain level of expense when it comes to visual effects, to a certain degree. Costuming, prosthetics, and makeup kind of things from time to time. They don't do it a lot, but there's an unfortunate CGI scene of him jumping into the water at the end that does not age well, unfortunately. But yeah, it did surprise me about the ending, and kind of like a lot of things that came out in the 90s, late 90s and early 2000s. Some of these feel like they were pilots, just that were meant to lead to series, possibly, or you get a half-hour series on the Disney Channel after they filmed it. And I don't know if anything like that ever came out of this. I do not see that. But in this case, we get a story that more could be told. But also, one of the things I thought was really disturbing, even though it's not her, the mermom looks a little bit like Alanis Morissette, which would have been really weird considering Dave Coulier is also in this film. And if you know the history between the two of them, they used to date. I don't know. It's just the mermaid hair, I guess. She just looked like a blonde Alanis, and it's not Alanis, I checked. So if you're thinking that, you ought to know. So. It's an entertaining film. It's like I said, it doesn't take the normal path to the end. It is very much about the metaphor of coming of age and the changes in your body and how you deal with it. But this also heads into, had he been half merman, the X-Men should have showed up. I'm just saying, Cyclops should have showed up and said, "Hey, you're changing. Come hang out at our school." That did not happen. So yeah, check it out. If it's something you grew up with, I can't imagine it's going to age well, but it's not a bad film. It's when you're 12, 13, it could have put a great impression on you. It did to some people, but as an adult now, it's just kind of fun to watch. Actually, as a Disney Channel movie that doesn't tightly fit the structure of every other Disney Channel movie. One of which is the fact that our main character has two parents, although Jess only has one, as far as we know. Because there's no mom that shows up at any point in this. So a parent needs to be missing in nearly every Disney production. Just saying. It is with the princesses. It is, if one of them's not gone at the beginning, both of them will be gone about 20 minutes into the film. Just saying. That's the way it works. Let's pick tomorrow's episode. 89. 89. Oh, we got another movie. After all these days of just shorts and documentaries and everything else, an overdose in National Geographic. But this time we have two movies in a row. And this one is, I think, a bit more modern, I think. I've seen it listed. And it is... I don't know if it's newish, though. We'll find out when we watch Gotta Kick It Up. So, yeah. Gotta Kick It Up. I imagine it feels like it's about dancing. I don't know. We'll find out. Gotta Kick It Up on the next Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that. Bye.